Seismologists warn California is in an earthquake drought. Tyler Durden of Zero Hedge reports this, authored by Max Slavo via SHTF Plan. Well, we've been keeping an eye out on Seismo Berkeley's mappings of the monitoring and the recording of the earthquakes in California as we look at the neighboring Yellowstone volcano, but we see that the area between Portland, Oregon, and Sacramento is basically earthquake-free, and I still don't understand why that is the case, because it's right on the San Andreas Fault and the Ring of Fire, and the whole area south of Sacramento up to Tijuana is shaking daily with earthquakes. We've had a major earthquake, for example, today in, let's see where that is. That is 3.5 magnitude, Parkfield, California. That's not small. And another one about 3.1, east-southeast of the Geysers, California. And of course, we know that Mount Baker, Mount St. Helens are shaking in the state of Washington. So that is what they're afraid of, is the fact that, according to scientists who study California seismicity, the state is in an earthquake drought with fears of the big one and likely more fires to already worry about. The state has found itself in a precarious situation. That prepper's mindset we've so often referred to could come in handy if you live in California or even a state that borders it, but the earthquake drought is apparently ongoing. It has been almost 5 years since the state experienced its last earthquake of magnitude 6 or stronger, which occurred in Napa, according to the Los Angeles Times, and before that, a quake that did a lot of damage in Mexicali, South California, struck it in 2010. Experts have advised the West Coast to brace for the big one, the earthquake that could destroy the state's infrastructure and economy for years, forcing mass migration east. The big one, of course, would also bring a tsunami, and that's a bad case scenario. As we know, USGS has been regularly updating, even giving out videos concerning that, and trying to somehow have tsunami preparedness, but most people will not be prepared. Now, earthquake rates are quite variable. We have a decade or two where we don't have any earthquakes, and people expect that's what California is always like. This is what Elizabeth Cochran, seismologist with the USGS, states, and she says eventually we're going to dramatically see a change in earthquake rates. An earthquake drought certainly sounds like a catastrophic apocalyptic event. However, the scientists seem to be merely wanting people warned as a means to prepare for the worst, which we should all be doing anyway. Now, this urgent alert comes as memories of other massive quakes have faded in the minds of people. Therefore, it is no longer a priority to be prepared. The experts have added that Californians should ignore the warnings of this earthquake drought at their own peril. Along the main plate boundary faults, we are in a deficit of earthquakes in the last 100 years, said Tom Rockwell, San Diego State paleoseismologist. He says at some point that's going to change and we're going to have some big earthquakes. Okay, so they have a deficit of earthquakes the past 100 years. This is what we've been saying, and this is especially what they've been warning about concerning the southern area of, right below this, the southern area of California, Los Angeles and below. So they say those quakes will occur when the force on the plates under the surface of the earth finally need to reveal the pressure causing damages. There may be periods, they say, where things get kind of all locked up and no earthquakes happen for a while. You store a lot of strain in the Earth's crust, said Tom Jordan, USC professor of geophysics. And once it gets going, it's like a set of dominoes. You might get multiple events if you have strong enough strain energy stored in the crust because it's been a long time since an earthquake. Preparedness is a mindset, and once you achieve it, comes with a peace of mind that only can be described as euphoric. If your finances don't allow you to buy and store extra food or water just yet, get your mindset right and the rest will follow. Now, this is what scientists have been saying all along. Now, you've had, as we said before, even Seismo Berkeley, I'll leave a link below for you for that. We see that in the middle area of California, right at the point of the southern point of the Cascadia subduction zone Juan de Fuca plate, we don't have any earthquakes there. What does that mean? Does that mean that there's energy being stored and it's not being released there? Because we see it being released in Northern California, Oregon, Washington, but we don't, and also it's being released Sacramento and South, but we don't see it being released in the middle. And they're expecting the big one around the Los Angeles area, as we said before, because they have not had a major quake there over a 100-year period. So that's besides the fact that also the USGS is saying that it may not be an earthquake. That is the big event to follow. It could be a volcanic eruption. We see a tremendous amount of earthquake activity in those lavic fields, those volcanic fields, just south of the Long Valley caldera, all the way down to the area here where you see just above Tijuana, that little lake, the Salton Sea area, which is another volcanic area. Okay, so just past south and east of this red line that you see there, that whole area is volcanic. So I'll leave a link below for you. I'll leave links below for you for this. Thank you. And here we have, besides the fact that we have the San Andreas Fault all along the west coast, which is a subduction zone, as we know, we have all these volcanoes, all the way from Canada, all the way Washington State, Oregon, California, as you can see. And we've had the Newberry's supervolcano. We have Mount Hood, Mount St. Helens, the Three Sisters, Mount Rainier. Mount Baker is active, and Mount St. Helens is, I think she's had 30 earthquakes in the past 30 days, and she's still rocking. And that's a tremendous amount of activity there. We saw that kind of activity before she last erupted in 1980. And we have Mount Shasta, Mount Lassen. Amazing. Glacier Peak. I'll let you see all these. I don't know. I was supposed to have some kind of a report from one of my viewers that was not far from Mount St. Helens. He was supposed to go last weekend. He never got back to me. I hope he does, because if he did go, he would have nice things to say about what he had seen there, because they say that Mount St. Helens is growing, just as it did before it erupted in 1980. So, and here we have another list of them. Again, you can see them more clearly here. If you'd like to join me on my Patreon account, you will hear content not covered by mainstream media. These riveting stories will be based on my research, and I will state my opinions and give my personal insight on diverse and controversial subjects and world events not covered by mainstream media, and not supported by YouTube guidelines. So whatever I have on my Patreon, most of those will not be on my YouTube channel. Please consider becoming a member today. More of the most significant and important videos will be on my Patreon channel. Your support helps me to continue my research and keeps this YouTube channel alive. And we depend on your support, your generous charity, because we help economically challenged families here in Athens, Greece, in Kapota, and we also help the young generation with university tuition, and the community around our church. Thank you.